Okay, so picking up from where we left off, we were with the source 4 right here, looking at how you know the Han Empire saw more practical use in their civilizations developing grains and fibers and things that can be used for food in trade rather than pearls, jewels, gold, things that could be used for currency, but not great for trading and kind of the growth of civilization and cities. These don't grow cities in as much as grains and fibers and people having food do, which is something all people need to survive. So yeah, you can kind of see here in how they put more stock in. So because their societies chose to do this, it led to a more prosperous society. And because they traded grain, this led to the growth of other societies outside of their own civilization. So this further allowed trade to happen. So you can see a lot of the things I'm focusing on in when I'm looking at these sources. So you kind of use my thinking and kind of the ways I've thought about these when you look at these on your own and build your own thesis. All right, so you have a little trading map right here. Then you have an artifact. It's like a camel, a man riding on a camel. And here we get to our first task, task A. So analyze the prompt. So there's the prompt right there. And so this is going to be your assignment for today, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. So number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you remember this from the World Geography Performance task, so underline or circle keywords in the prompt. What is the topic of this prompt? What are you being asked to write about? So that should be pretty simple to do. Just underline some of the key things in the prompt and basically paraphrase what it is asking you to write about. That's what you'll do for number 1. Number 2, what do you know about this topic? What prior knowledge can you bring to this prompt? So what prior things do you already know about the classical period? We've talked a lot about it so far. So you should be able to bring something, maybe 1 or 2 things from your own knowledge about learning about this stuff in class. You may have to go back and look at notes from the notebook, but should be able to come up with at least something in small part for number 2. Okay, so 3, circle the disciplinary reasoning skill that best addresses the prompt. Briefly explain why. Alright, so let's go back. So analyze factors that most directly contributed to the development and growth of trans-regional trade in the classical period. So thinking of the prompt, you have to, and looking at the sources, you need to really kind of consider which of these disciplinary reasoning skills, you can only pick one, best addresses the prompt. And I will leave that for you to decide. You can only choose one. And please explain why up here. Okay, so, and then 4, before evaluating the documents, what are some factors that you recall that might be related to this prompt? So what are some factors that you can recall that might be related to this prompt? And factors could mean like, what was the, what civilization was the biggest during this time? What were, or multiple civilizations probably. So how many civilizations were big at this time? What was the distance like between these civilizations? Was it really far, or were they close by? How did they trade? Did they trade mostly through sea, land, or a mixture of the two? So there are a lot of different ways you can go into thinking about this. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are for you to answer. And you should complete this by Wednesday or Thursday. So it needs to be completed, ultimately by Thursday at 9 p.m. though. Anything you do after that will be considered late. And that is all. Next week we will discuss finishing the performance task. We'll get to task B and task C. And that will conclude this week's assignments.